Hi, I'm Tane.
And I'm Aid, and this is Altar Call, a Married at First Sight podcast.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode with Alto Call. This time, we are recording an episode where we are just going to chit chat about everything we're watching with a heavy focus on the reality shows that we are watching. Hello, Aid. How are you?
I am doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing well, but doing okay is generous, Aid. You want to share the travails you've been going through the last few days?
So, at this point, I've entered my fifth day of no electricity. There was a crazy storm in Houston on Thursday night. I mean, the storm was crazy in that your phone, first off, I've turned off alerts on my phone, so I don't get alerts. But this time I got an alert. It was like tornado warning, take shelter right now. I kind of like poo pooed it. Then I was like, maybe I should go. Like, it's crazy outside. Maybe I should just go into where I think I should go if there's a tornado. So I go in there. Then my friend calls me. She's like, oh my gosh, I just spent 30 minutes like sitting in I think she said her bathroom, like waiting for a tornado to touch down. Thankfully, no tornado actually touched down where we were, but it was a crazy, crazy storm. I was trying to take video of it. And then at one point during the storm, probably pretty early on, I lose power. I'm thinking, oh, no big deal. Surely it'll come back. 10:30 at night, that okay, overnight, I'm sure the power will come back. Long story short, I'm now on day 5 of no power. I spend way too much time on next door. Like, is the power back? Is the power on my block back? Is the power in my neighbor? Like, it's a lot. Everybody actually in my family lost power, but they all got theirs back before me, so that's where I've been staying, just going back and forth. Yesterday my mother called me a bag lady, so I have just been going back and forth. And I'm like, I just want my electricity back. But all in all, I feel very lucky. While I'm the last to get the power back, so far I'm the only person who doesn't have some sort of damage to their house. Um, yeah, there's trees in people's houses. It's rough. It's very rough. There are still trees out, on people's power lines. Hence why I don't have power. So yes, that's the extreme weather adventures I've been having. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Well, I'm glad for one that you're okay. I hope your power comes back soon. That's very inconvenient.
And that's all it is. That's all it is. It's an inconvenience. So, Tane, we don't have any housekeeping this week. So, Tane, what is going on in MAFS Land?
Okay, just a few things. Beth from the Charlotte season put up a post, not a post, put up in her story and was like, Selling OC is the first reality TV that she's been able to watch since she did reality TV. I'm not saying that's not true, but I'm like, hasn't she, in my mind, she's watched Love is Blind or something? But I was like, wow, like if really she hasn't watched any reality TV since then, that is a feat. But also, hasn't she watched seasons of MAFS since then? So basically, all I'm saying is like, when I read it, my first thing was like, huh, is this accurate?
It doesn't sound accurate. And I'm also like selling OC. Not that I've watched a single minute of that show, but I'm like, that's a choice.
Like, it is a choice. Y'all know I'm a reality show hoe. I cannot watch Selling OC. Like, I watched the first season, and then the second season, I started episode 1, and I was like, I cannot do this. Like, physically, I cannot. So I turned it off, and I haven't looked back. No matter how many clips they try to bait us with, I can't watch that show. It's just bad. Amber, also from the Charlotte season, dropped a surprise and everybody. She got married at a courthouse and also announced she's expecting a baby boy in August. So, congratulations to her. She's one of those that went through it during the show. So, good for her.
Congratulations to her, and I'm really happy for her. Yeah. I'm surprised at the courthouse wedding because I felt like she didn't strike me as the type, but okay.
My first guess was she's pregnant. She just wants to be married before then. August is literally right around the corner if you think about it. So, she might still have something later on, but this is all speculation. Um, our favorite MAFS influencer. I'm kidding. I don't mean it like seriously. But Danielle from Dallas. It just always again amuses me because of her whole stance about wanting to keep working, be an independent woman, and not go to an actual like not work. But she's now an influencer, and she seems to be one of the successful influencers. This week, she promoted a sex toy. the comments. The comments went wild. I'm unfollowing you. How dare you? Now you're getting women, single women, to go out there and do this trash. How dare you? Do you have no boundaries? And it was a hot mess. But Bobby, her husband, really got into the comments and really had time for everyone today and was just responding to each and every single one of them. It really was hilarious. And I am in my fond era because of the ultimate couples thing. So it reminded me of their moments. So I'm feeling particularly nostalgic about them. So I really found it amusing and cute at the same time.
I don't care if I like you or dislike you. If you come to the comments to defend your wife, I like you. Like, I- I'm like, oh my gosh, that's great because these people need to shut up. First off, I am glad that she is making money as an influencer, selling text toys.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what she needs to do, good for her.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I have no issues with the product. Like, what is this puritanical nonsense? And thanks, Bobby, for getting in those comments. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we say this all the time. If you don't like something, what happened to just scrolling past, unfollowing, muting, blocking? What is this entitlement you think you have over other people to tell them that they have disgraced you and they don't know you? You are not a factor in their life. Keep it moving. Boy, people are interesting.
Didn't
Like,
Ashley do a sex toy and like didn't get this at all?
I do not recall that. I don't know. I don't recall. But yeah. I mean, every other day, Amani has to come check someone because they're trying to tell her something about her child. Something I think Woody was doing Rain's hair and he was watching something. And I think someone might have made a comment about, oh, why do you let them watch or whatever? Like, let people raise kids how they want to. Go away. Um, Jake from the Atlanta season apparently did a show with Joe Rogan. And this is just something he wrote. He was like, I did a show with Joe Rogan that had Terrence Howard on it, and I think he's a genius. Now, where I'm unclear is I don't know if he thinks Terrence Howard is the genius or if Joe Rogan is the genius. But I just thought I would share that.
I saw something on Twitter today that said that Terrence Howard has 80 patents and that he is, in fact, a pretty smart man.
Okay.
So
So,
I'm
what
going to go with he was talking about Terrence Howard.
Terrence
How
Howard?
he ended
Okay.
up on the show, okay.
Terrence Howard is quite eccentric, so that part didn't even shock me. Because the last time I saw Terrence Howard's picture, he had a very interesting hairstyle. Could maybe a wig, I don't know, but he marches to the beat of his own drums. We got a new podcast on the horizon, guys. This time it is called D List Diaries, and the hosts are Nashville participants Nicole, Gina, and Kirsten. So they're just going to be talking about everyday things and life. And I think it was kind of like tongue in cheek with fellow D-listers. So if you're interested in that, check it out.
What did they happen to say what they plan to talk about on the podcast?
Yeah, they did. They said they were just going to talk about different things in life, everyday things. And wait, I just said that. And life with fellow D-listers. Like if they're interested in that, it's a listening experience filled with unfiltered chats, general life musings, guest visits from your other favorite D-listers, and so much more.
I'm just going to say it. If they want us to come on, I'm in.
Are you coming on with general unfiltered or as a D-lister aid?
I mean, I'm not a D-lister. I'm not on any type of list,
One
and I'm
on any
fine with that.
list.
I just want to hang out with the D-listers.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I think it's similar to Karen's podcast. Actually, I don't even know if yeah, I think it's Karen's podcast. Just giggle something giggle. I mentioned it a long time ago, but yep, I am. They don't say when they will be launching, but they said it is coming soon. Real talk, laughs, and behind the scenes stories. So that should be fun. So this, like, it's fun. Like, I think this would be fun. But as a sidebar, I have a pet peeve. This latest thing about celebrities with shows that are not even 10 years old and they're coming to do recaps on it. And these are like working actors. Like,
This
let
is us.
regular people have. Yes, This Is Us is one of them. Today, Happy Endings was just announced. And then they have, like, okay, the Sopranos one, that makes sense. That show has been around for 25 years. Like, okay, yeah, let's
But that
recap that.
podcast was so bad. I barely made it through one episode, the Sopranos one. Sorry, but go ahead.
Well, probably because it, like, during the pandemic and the sound was so bad. I shouldn't talk about sound. People are gonna come for us, but but I mean, there's enough time. Like, okay, I'm nostalgic about that. I want to, listen to that. But for shows that are not, the body's not even cold yet. Like, give it a chance. We already have to deal with reboots, and now we have to deal with that bit. I
My
digress.
okay, but we can stay on this digression because I saw that This Was Us podcast, and I just thought I don't think this is a good idea. I'm telling you, I this was one of my favorites was that I've listened to, and I don't know if another show could ever top it. Was The West Wing Weekly
Yeah,
because that was such a good retrospective. A, one half of them wasn't on the show. B, the show had been off the air for at least a decade by the time the podcast started. Like,
yeah,
it was so good. And I just have a hard time believing that anybody else could repeat that magic.
yeah. Wow, we're still on the digression. Okay, so the host of the This Is Us thing is Mandy Moore, the guy who played Toby, and Sterling K. Brown. Okay, the
You don't
other
even
two
know
I
that
can
man's
even.
name. Sorry,
I
go
don't know
ahead.
his name. The rest of them I can't even understand. But Sterling K. Brown is like actually working. The man just got nominated for an Oscar. He just released a project. Why is he doing a podcast? Like, I'm so peeved by it. Okay, so we mentioned that the San Diego season is out on Netflix. Everyone is having their comments. Miguel is getting it bad, really bad. He responded to someone was like, "I'm so sorry that you think I'm scum." I was being really polite. We mentioned Alexis's response last week, like, this is not a safe space. If you come for me, I'll come for you. But Kristen said, thanks everyone for my season. And it's crazy how things change within a short time period because she is seeing someone. It is very new, so she doesn't want to talk about it. She also bought a home in Richmond. She got a Tesla and she has a new job. So he basically said, new job, new car, new city, new man. So Kristen is in her blessings era. So good for her.
I agree with all those choices except for the Tesla.
Do you want to expand or leave it there?
I'll leave it there.
Okay, she's living it there. But yeah, I was confused when I saw the home because I think she's building because she was like cabinets in and all. And I was like, isn't she in New York? And then she clarified. So it looks like she's moving back home to Richmond because that's where she's from. And finally, guys, in unfortunate news, it looks like Katina and Olajuwon are back at it again. I I don't know what to say. I'm just gonna say it factually and basically that he had a story up. He was going to go get LASIK, and he started it with like, "Hi guys, Olajuwon here with Katina," and she gleefully said, "Hi." So basically, she was his ride, and I mean, it is safe to infer that they're back together, even if they're not together. Why you friends with a man that's playing with your heart? You literally called this man out with his other family, with his other things, and now you're doing this. And like we've said before, do whatever foolishness you want, but why do we have to know? But also, what do you think it's like being her friend? Like, you have to smile and support Because what else are you going to do?
I mean, we wouldn't be friends anymore because I'd keep on saying, well, that looks dumb. By the fifth time I said it, we wouldn't be friends anymore. I mean, you're
But
right in that I was hoping and praying that I was like, this is just for money, right? Like, you guys are
exactly.
doing an advertisement for LASIK, but even to do an advertisement together, I don't. Yeah, I'm with you. No,
No, it is never that serious. No. So I don't know. I don't know why I will publicly show everyone my clown costume, but okay, you know. But that's all I got. Okay.
all right.
All right, guys, we will take a quick break and we will come back and talk all things TV.
Life doesn't happen bi-weekly, so why should payday? The money you make can be in your hands today with Earn In. Earn In is an app that gives you access to your pay as you work, up to $100 per day or up to $750 per pay period. Just download the Earn In app and verify your paycheck. Then access up to $100 a day as you work and leave an optional tip. Any money you access plus tips are automatically repaid from your next paycheck. Summer is coming and it is time for all of us to go on vacation. You can use the money you earn from Earn In to buy a new bathing suit or some new clothes for your fun summer vacation.
Download Earn In today, spelled EARNIN, in the Google Play or Apple App Store. When you download the Earn In app, type in Alto Call under podcast. When you sign up, it'll really help the show. That's Alto Call under podcast. Subject to your available earnings, location, daily max, and pay period max. See earnin.com/TOS for details. Earnin is a financial technology company, not a bank. Bank products are issued by Evolve Bank and Trust, member FDIC. If you're like me and looking to cut back on alcohol this year, Recess Zero Proof Craft Mocktails are the perfect alcohol replacement. They've recreated the cocktails you know and love, like their ginger lime mule and grapefruit paloma, which happen to be my favorites. You can enjoy the flavors and feelings of those cocktails without the booze. Zero proof, zero compromise. Listeners can get 15% of the Recess Mocktail Sampler at takearecess.com/autocallmafs.
You guys know I don't drink very much, so Recess is a great substitute while everybody else imbibes. It's a lightly sparkling mocktail infused with functional ingredients like uplifting guayusa and stress balancing adaptogens. Whether you're relaxing after work or hanging out with friends, make Recess mocktails your drink between drinks or your forever mocktail. Get 15% off Recess mocktails now at takearecess.com/altercallmafs so you can enjoy your favorite cocktails without the consequences.
Ladies, you know that vicious week before your period where you feel like you want to crawl out of your skin, you feel a little bit down or off, and those cravings when you feel like you could eat anything in sight? Well, there's a solution for that. Now it's easier to manage your PMS with Estro Control.
You have to try Hormone Harmony. Happy Mammoth, the company that created Hormone Harmony, is dedicated to making women's lives easier. And that means using only science backed ingredients that have been proven to work for women. They make no compromise when it comes to quality. And it shows. For a limited time, you can get 15% off on your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code ALTERCALLMAFS at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code ALTARCALLMAFS for 15% off today.
And we're back. All right, Aid. How do we want to start with this? What do you want to talk about? What show do you want to start with?
Let us all be clear here. Whatever TV I've been watching, Tane has been watching more. And so, you can go ahead and kick it off since you are more likely to have watched some TV.
Well, I mean, okay. So we'll start with the fact with thank you guys for those of you who sent in questions, sent in shows, or for us that you would like us to touch on. So we'll try to get to most of them. If we don't get to them, sorry about that, but we'll probably touch on it on some part. But let's start with the fact that I think due to the writer's strike, there hasn't been a lot of scripted shows, or it just feels like scripted shows are not as good as they used to be.
I don't
But I don't.
I don't The reason why I'm like, I don't know about not as good as they used to be. Definitely there's less volume. Everybody knows there's less volume. I read some crazy thing that said like networks used to premiere like 30 shows every fall, and this year in the fall they're doing like 12 or something. Um so the volume has definitely gone down, but then there's still shows that people are talking about that are scripted.
So the volume hasn't got, it's gone down on network TV. They're all going to streaming now. But the network TV, the volume is definitely less on there. Back in the day, they'll be like, oh, these are the fall TV shows that I'm getting ready to watch. But I don't think I watch any network show anymore except for Grey's Anatomy. And even then, I watch it on Hulu without ads.
You don't watch Abbott Elementary?
Oh, it's all Hulu, but no, I don't watch. I have a thing with sitcoms. I start and then I just can't. I don't stick through with it, so I
That's
dropped off.
So I wouldn't say I'm a huge sitcom watcher, but I do watch Abbott Elementary. I mean, I'm always behind, but I do watch it. And then the other show that I watched, and I actually had an interesting experience with, was Bob Hart's Abishala, which just ended. It ended so well, though. I actually flew to LA for a live taping of Bob Hart's Abishala, and it was really good. I know you didn't like it, but I don't really watch sitcoms, but I watch those too.
Oh, I did not like it. I just didn't watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried. I don't know what happened. I always have good intentions, and I'm like, I'm gonna start or whatever. Because I started watching Abbott Elementary, and I don't know when I stopped. So yeah. So there's not like for me. I just think it's they don't hit the same like they used to. And trust me, I'm not even the kind of person like it has to be top notch or anything. They just don't hit the same. So for scripted TV, well, on network is Grey's Anatomy. Scripted TV, I am watching The Shy. That's a show that I don't even think like is the greatest bestest, but it gives me so much joy, and I'm always happy watching The Shy. And they just got renewed for another season. For some reason, I thought it was going to stop. So I'm watching The Shy and I'm watching Hacks on Max. I would say the Gerard Carmichael reality show, but I don't know if it's scripted or not. I don't know what that show is. I can't explain it to you. It's very divisive, but I love it. I am on the side of people who love that show. It's
So it's a
probably
scripted reality sort of combination.
kind of, yes. So when I was reading a review about it, it was like it's an exaggerated reality, but it is real life things about his show. His parents are actually there, his boyfriend is actually there, but the things that are on there are blowing my mind that I'm like, what is the exaggerated part? I don't know. But confronting his parents is real. Talking about his sexuality and them not accepting it is real. So I don't know. He said he feels more comfortable with cameras in his face. So he's a shitty person. Like through and through. He keeps cheating on his boyfriend and can't stop. Like so I don't know what
Can't-
it is, but I'm sorry, what?
I said can't stop.
Okay, won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. He won't stop cheating his boyfriend, and I don't know what is happening on there. It's just again, not a show I can tell you what is going on, but I absolutely really I like the show, but a lot of people are mad at him for some reason. Not for some reason, I can get why, but those are the only scripted shows that I'm watching right now that I remember off the top of my head.
I don't know if I want to call it like a scripted show. As you guys may know, but it is. I am like down a true crime rabbit hole. It started with Sisters Who Kill, the podcast that I recommend. Sisters Who Kill, wonderful. Go check it out. And then it morphed over to like Dateline, and then it morphed over to like true crime books. So then I somehow stumble upon this book called Evidence of Love by John Bloom and Jim Atkinson. I don't know why I started reading it or how I found it. And then that led me to the fact that last year Hulu had made a TV show with about this story. It's set in Texas, and Jessica Biel was like the star of it. It was called Candy, and it was on Hulu. I
Oh my
recommend.
god. I absolutely, well, to my friends who know, I did a comparison because HBO did their version of it. Love After Death or whatever with the third Olsen sister,
Elizabeth. Yeah, I saw that there
Elizabeth.
was another show, and I was like, do I really? Honestly, watching it once was a lot for me. I can't remember that girl's name. There's a woman who's been in like everything. She's so good.
Melanie
She,
Linsky.
thank you. She was in the Hulu version, and I really like her. So I was like, I don't really know if I want to go watch the HBO version of this. And I don't know why that story. It's from the 80s. I have no idea why two networks at the same time decided to do the story. I don't know where that came from.
It's a common Hollywood thing. Like everyone rushes to do like the first one and then somebody else does another one. So now we get two, three versions of the same thing of a lot of shows actually. So and then I have serious FOMO and I go like an idiot and watch them to compare. But if anyone is thinking about watching it, I would recommend the Jessica Biel version, Candy. That was a lot better. That was a lot closer. They changed everything in the HBO version. She didn't even have the hairstyle or the glasses or anything or whatever, and they made everyone just different, completely different. So if you don't have time to watch both, I would say watch Candy.
Oh, good. So I followed your advice before I even got your advice. But I will say, of course, the shows leave some stuff out. The book has all the details, and it's like, this is crazy. Anyway,
I mean, is it a spoiler to say what? Because I can't believe the real life ending of it all, but okay.
okay, let's do
Yeah.
spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Fast forward, fast forward. I, this is why the book was so good. First off, I'm like, this woman really like went and killed this woman with an axe, left Bible school to go do this, and comes back and acts like nothing happened. But the shocker, of course, at the end, I was like, there's no possible way she's getting off. And then she gets off.
Yep. That was very shocking to me because I was there just like Googling and Googling. I was like, nah, my eyes must be failing me. But there we were.
And she's a therapist now.
Mm-hmm. America. Okay. What else are you watching?
Well, like I said, I mean, Dateline is top notch and it's on every Friday. um, And I would say the number one thing that bothers me about Dateline is they don't cover probably enough cases that involve minorities of any kind. But they try. Like last week's episode was the victim was black, and it was Jeezy was on the episode. It went in a very strange direction, but I was like, why is Jeezy on Dateline? Um but yeah, it's formulaic, but it's very, very good. It's just I'm enjoying it. I'm down the rabbit hole. I can watch 5 episodes of Dateline in a row. It's very unfortunate that I'm not diversifying. And then I try to watch some Snapped or like I watch a lot of the true crime documentaries, which are really good. So like there's one on Netflix about Lucy Blackman, this British girl who went missing in Japan. There's also a book for that, People Who Eat Darkness. The book was pretty good. And The Sea Will Tell was another book. These people, let's just say 4 people went to an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. They both had boats, and only 2 of them left that island alive.
Oh.
Crazy. And the name of the
Oh.
book is And the Sea Will Tell by Vince Bugliosi. Bugliosi. But anyway, what are you watching?
What am I not watching? Well, I was gonna segue into asking like what reality shows are you watching?
Let's be real here. I am watching Summer House Martha's Vineyard and 90 Day Fiance. Oh, and 90 Day Fiance Love in Paradise. And I'm
Okay, so
waiting
for
for
the
Dubai.
okay, so for those of you who are maybe new to us, um, we did do a recap of Summer House Martha's Vineyard, so you can check that out. I think that was just 2 episodes ago. And for season one, you could just do a search. We recapped season one as well. We will also be recapping the reunion and the rest of the episodes of the season next week. 90 Day Fiance, we have up on our Patreon. And we do want to say that there was an update that we forgot to mention. Shout out to Tima because she's the one who brought it to our attention that Sophie's mom is actually in jail for sharing some, I don't know, something happened like where there were videos of Rob just being verbally abusive to her, and even Sophie was defending Rob even though I thought they were separated. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, because have you seen the most recent episode of 90 Day?
I have not.
Okay, they hate each other. That's pretty
Of
much where I was. That's obvious. But they hate each other. So I think maybe sharing something, she did something, but somehow she is in jail for that. And I'm just like, Sophie, if this doesn't tell you that this is not a good situation, I don't know what else to tell you. But yeah. Um, how is Love in Paradise this season? A show that I do not watch.
It's just so weird. These people are weird. And there's no one to root for quite yet. Um, from the episodes that I've watched, I'm sorry, there are people to root for. There are not couples to root for yet. So I'm just waiting to like actually like these people.
But is it better than the current 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After?
Apples and oranges.
Okay.
Because at least with Love in Paradise, I don't know these people. Whatever's going on with them, it's still new because I don't know them. I haven't seen them, on my screen for 4 seasons straight, a la Gino and Jasmine. So it's very hard to compare. Generally speaking, though, the previous seasons of Love in Paradise are amazing.
Okay.
I would highly recommend if it's on HBO Max, but go back and watch the first like 3 seasons. It is so good.
Okay. So while we are on the 90 Day Fiance trajectory, we got a question that came in, and someone asked, who is worse, Ed or Angela?
Mm, because the patriarchy is strong, I'm just gonna go ahead and say Ed.
Okay. I'm with you. I went back and forth, and I went with Ed because I don't think Ed has any moments of remorse or even being a good person. Angela, in some cases, could be like, I've seen her be kind to others or to stick up for each others. Her big character flaw is just that she's abusive towards Michael, for lack of a better word. But Ed is just a horrible person through and through to everybody. And last episode, where he said, "Don't worry, Liz, I'll always be an asshole," that cemented it for me. And I just think Ed is just a terrible person.
The reason why I agree with you that Ed is a terrible person, Michael is a victim of Angela, but he's also a victim who's separated literally by thousands of miles and many flights. And while he has his goals, he chooses not to escape her. I don't know. I feel like Michael and Liz are both victims. Maybe it's because she's a woman. I don't know why. I have more sympathy for Liz, and I know I probably should have more sympathy for Michael than I probably do.
Well, I'll tell you the difference between both. Michael has an end goal and he already invested so much. What is he going to do? Liz doesn't need a green card. Liz doesn't need anything.
So I feel like you're telling me I should have more sympathy for Michael, which is probably how I feel.
No, I'm saying why Michael is quote unquote, yes, he could leave, but he kind of also cannot leave because he has to start all over again for his end goal. Um, okay, I do want to put a disclaimer out there. We got people asking for Seeking Sister Wives. We don't watch it. I watched the first season or 2 episodes. I don't know what happened, but I kind of just binged it. But after that, I fell off because I could not understand what was happening with these people. And then for MILF Manor, I couldn't get into it. So I don't know. I think that's the same for you too, Aid.
I didn't try, but it's like the whole
Okay.
seeking sister wife thing. I think Cody Brown has really traumatized me in a way that I just don't really want to see that again. And so I just don't really want to watch it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, okay, we're just gonna go in some way with some of the shows people asked about. Where are you on Below Deck? Because you used to be a Below Deck watcher.
Haven't I haven't watched Below Deck since Kate and Hannah left their respective boats.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh,
Um,
I don't know. Oh, I
I've
thought it was
tried.
just recent.
No, I've
Okay.
tried. Like every now and then I'll be like, okay, it's time to watch Below Deck. I meant to watch Jill Zarin's episode just out of curiosity, and then it doesn't stick. What are you thinking about the current season?
Okay, so what I was gonna say was like, so this is the first season without Captain Lee. I loved his replacement, Captain Carey, but I will say, I found out like a friend of mine could not stand Captain Lee, and she's the first person I've ever met who does not like Captain Lee. But I mean, points were made, kind of like I kind of saw it. I was like, maybe I had my blinders on, but I do like his replacement. Captain Carey is a no nonsense, sees through the bullshit. This season has been okay, maybe not as riveting as the other seasons have been. Frasier, who used to be under Kate, you met Frasier?
Yes, yes.
Yes, the British guy. He's now Chief Stew, but I think he was kind of being, excuse my French, a little bitch this season. Because, I'm sorry, because he was just a tattletale, getting into it with your stews and doing all that. Like, he has openly said that he suffers from insecurity, but don't let it show. Like, find a way to mask it like the rest of us. Like, don't go out there tattletaling on your chef and saying they're not doing this, giving them leeway to disrespect the chef and all that. So there were two firings, I think, and it's about to end, but generally it's been okay, not just as riveting. The best of the Below Decks to me is Sailing Yacht, but the main guy in it got caught up in some allegations, so now I don't know what's gonna happen.
Was that the one where there was like the sexual assault that the crew basically prevented?
Bum, 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 bum.
It
It
was like
wasn't.
one crew member was like about to do
No.
something shady with another crew member who was really drunk, and the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
crew, yeah.
yeah, yeah, that was Australia. So
Okay.
Gary's is was off air. So I think I don't know what the future is without him on there. It was somebody that accused him, I guess, off air or something like that. So, but Australia, that's the one that happened. I never used to watch Australia, but then that happened, and I went. You guys, I'm not lying when I say I have serious FOMO. I went and I binged the entire season, and it was really, actually, really good. So I think it's neck and neck now with Australia, with Sailing Yacht for me. But the problem is, I see that Aisha is back in Below Deck Med. So I don't know what that means for Australia. Like, is she not going to come back? And I quit Below Deck Med because I can't stand Captain Sandy.
Same.
But now, with the crew that they're bringing back, I think I'm going to watch Below Deck Med. So I might be coming back and see if it might be better. Um, on that note. Oh, I do want to say there was a crossover in this season of Below Deck because we had, oh, I guess we had two. We had two crossovers. Jill Zarin from the original New York was on, and then we had the couple from Love and Marriage DC, which Joy and Clifton were on there with her best friend on the show. So it was very interesting. And then they hated them because their palates was not up to par. The chef is feeding them like highbrow food, and they're like, "We just want a burger." Like, we don't want all of that on there. So it was interesting. And then Jill was just, I think it was kind of overhyped. Like, Jill was being Jill, but Jill wasn't exactly wrong in the things that she was saying. It's just that she wasn't the primary.
He
So,
was someone's guest.
yes. So that was kind of what the issue is because Jill would do that. She likes to mother, I guess is the word. Oh, you should do this. Oh, if you do this with it, like she has hacks. She's like a walking life hack, and she just wouldn't shut up about everything. So, but I think that's what made the episode. I think that's what they were looking for. But yeah.
I always think that I should like go back to Below Deck, and I will like catch an episode every now and then, but it's also a little confusing because I'm like, I don't know who these people are. I don't know who's mad at who. Yeah, I got. Do they still have a version that they only air on Peacock, or they stopped that?
Um, they usually air both. It's just that they used to air it early on Peacock, but they don't do that anymore.
Oh, okay,
It's like a next day situation. But I don't think it should matter though. Honestly, they changed the crew so much that you'll be cut up. You'll be fine if you decide to watch it. And if all else fails, you could just text me. I'll keep you up to date.
that's true. So speaking of
Okay.
Bravo, there has been some news in the Bravo universe lately about specifically about Beverly Hills. I do get a little annoyed with like just all of the like all the posts today about how Real Housewives of Potomac are in North Carolina. I'm like, can we just let them film in peace and I can watch the show? Although I'm
Yeah.
not really sure if I'm going to be watching Potomac. It's question mark. Um,
Oh, hot take.
I'm gonna miss Candace. I'm really gonna miss Candace. Um, but we'll. I mean, I'll give in. I'll probably give in and watch. But Beverly Hills, there's a lot coming out there. Crystal's not coming back. Who else did they fire over at Beverly Hills? Oh, Anastasia.
Um, who's Anastasia?
The girl whose name I can't remember. Why did I think her name was
Oh,
Anastasia?
Anne Marie.
Thank you. There we go.
I was like,
Apparently, Dorit and PK are broken up, which is like not really news because they were headed in that direction.
yeah.
Hopefully they filmed it. And then to me, the biggest news of all, which is that Bazoma St. John is joining Beverly Hills. I have followed her and her career for years. My first reaction, I mean, on one hand, I'm like, okay, uh, uh, I'm happy anytime a black woman is succeeding. I think getting on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills counts as succeeding. On the other hand, I'm like, is this a good fit?
I I don't know. Good luck to all of them that's involved in that because they said Bozoma and Eva LaRue were gonna be cast, but it looks like the Eva LaRue didn't work out. But my first thought with Beverly Hills, I think they should stop casting actresses. I don't necessarily think that it's a good fit. Um, I'm not like a huge fan of Bozoma, and I think, well, I guess this is the next best transition because I don't know, nobody's gonna hire her now. So this is
And
work. It still counts as work, but you know.
And just for y'all's background on Bazoma, she has been a chief marketing officer for big brands. Beats by
Pel-
Dre,
Peloton,
Netflix, Peloton.
Uber.
However, she has not spent a long time at those jobs, and it has been noted by some. And when she was at Netflix, which was her last gig, there was some talk about how she might have spent a little too much time on self promotion and not enough time on promoting Netflix. But her like persona or her what she's known for is being like a corporate executive, very successful creative type.
hmm
That's what she's known for.
Yeah.
I don't understand really how that fits into Beverly Hills, but we'll all find out. I did not know about the Ava LaRue thing, and I would have loved to have her because I'm a soap opera girl. I remember her. But yeah.
I don't know. I've been singing this from the beginning. Fresh cast, go back to the basics. And I think this is part of the problem. Back in the day when they used to cast people, it was like in depth, there was actual research, and it was people who were friends. Now they're casting randoms and hoping that they get along. And I think that's just a bad recipe because then you have to get to know each other. There's no dynamic. And then you have miscasts and then people not matching. And then it feels off and uneven, which I think was part of the demise of not demise, but part of the things that didn't go well in the last season of Atlanta. Like it just helps when it's a group of friends, like how it was in the early seasons of all the franchises. There was some kind of connection. So just casting randoms, I think, is not a good recipe. Then they have to keep changing cast every single time. I don't
Because
know.
I'm like,
I
who is Boss friends with on the crew of Beverly Hills?
Well, I mean, they're just gonna find some friend and make a story and tie it in together, but we'll see. I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm having Housewives fatigue on all the franchises, but that's just me.
There's a fatigue, but there's also a familiarity. So, but for instance, I don't typically watch New Jersey. Sometimes I make an exception. So I'm not watching New Jersey. But Dubai is coming back and I will be watching, even though I actually don't think it's going to be good. But I'm going to watch it anyway. I mean, it's a
Ugh.
good time to have housewives fatigue. There's not a lot of housewives going on.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair what they're doing to Dubai. They filmed this show like God knows how long. By the time they go into reunion, who's gonna remember what's happening? Like it's been so long um, since that time. But I mean, we'll see what happens with
This is
that.
what I'm going to predict is what's going to happen with Dubai. They're going to air the second season. They have a lot of challenges facing them. By the time they get to a reunion, they won't do a reunion and they'll probably cancel Dubai.
Or send them to Peacock, maybe?
That would be better. That would be better.
I think it'll be better. And a popular opinion, if they bring Dallas back, I'm not going to be mad. As long as you take Carrie Prescott out of it. I don't like that girl. But I didn't think Dallas was as bad as everyone. I don't know why it got canceled.
Racism, because they were racist.
Well, is that what it.
Tiffany Moon, remember?
No, I understand. I'm trying to think, like, didn't another franchise go through that and they didn't cancel them? But
Was it
maybe
Beverly
I'm.
Hills?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Anyways, all right. I mean, yeah, I get it. Like, they were terrible. That's why I said I don't want Carrie back because she was the, you know, main participant and that. Like, ordinarily, like, if you do that, fire them like you fired Leanne and then get another cast member. So that's why I'm like, I don't know why they canceled. But I don't know.
It's funny because the
Um,
only season of Dallas I actually watched was that last season, and the only person I really enjoyed was Tiffany Moon. The rest,
yeah.
the rest of them can go.
Yeah. Sticking with Bravo, Summer House is having a very great season this season. It's amazing. And the reunion is going to be airing in about a few weeks. So if you're looking for a Bravo show to watch, I do recommend Summer House. I know you said you, on principle, you're not watching The Valley. And I say this with a little shame, but I am watching The Valley and I am enjoying The Valley, and The Valley is giving what it should be giving.
It does seem to be generating a lot of talk. The thing is, if I thought I would enjoy it, my morals would probably be damned. But I don't enjoy Jax and I don't enjoy Brittany and I don't know whatever motley crew they have on there. Like, what storyline is going on the Valley? I was very curious what their storylines would be.
Oh my God, there's a lot going on, especially since two of the couples are already separated now. So that's intriguing. And they've been renewed for a second season. So it's basically watching the real time demise of Brittany and Jax's relationship, how he speaks to her, how he's so terrible to her, and watching them raise their son who, I mean, there's no official diagnosis or anything, but Brittany says he was speaking, and then by like 18 months, he started to regress, and he's not speaking at all, and just dealing with that. And they're all in that phase of having babies. So one couple, they just had twins. She's a former Miss America, dealing with like the postpartum, trying to deal with that, and not feeling quite like herself. Then there's another one who's pregnant on the show, but she has so much time on her hands that she's so gossipy and evil. So while all the focus is on Kristen and Jax is the evil one, she's the real evil one. And then Kristen does what Kristen does best and accuses one of them of saying something about being racist and being a Republican, which someone says being a Republican in LA is like a big no no, which was just funny to me. And it's just everyone throwing stones, hiding hands. There was a whole dinner party from hell where someone just said, Kristen, that's rich coming from you. Didn't you get fired from your last show because you were actually racist? And that was how they ended the episode, and my jaw was on the floor. So it's pretty good.
I did hear about the demise of Jackson Brittany, which I'm like, from the moment I saw you guys on Vanderpump Rules, I know, I knew you'd end up here eventually.
Oh
I
yeah,
wish you
we all
hadn't had
knew
a kid.
that.
I wish you
I
hadn't had a
mean,
kid.
that's they were planning to have a second one. That's the funny part. We're watching them planning to have like a second child, and even then, we don't know if they're actually separated or if it's just publicity. To be honest, but I don't care. Like I don't care. Like listen, the minute this woman decided to say yes to this man a year after he publicly humiliated her, cheated on her, and she was okay with it, whatever happens, you take it as it is. I'm totally fine with that. So, yeah. So you can't talk about the Valley without talking about Vanderpump. I think a lot of the unaired thing is a lot of their drama is off air because Lala is just being Lala, and I don't know what she's going through. Everyone's mad at Ariana, and I don't understand it. I don't get it, but it is what it is, and it's time for the show to end. And Lala is trying really hard for this show not to end, and is gonna blame Ariana by saying that this is what she does to feed her child. I don't like how she weaponizes the fact that oh she has a child. Like say Katie that doesn't have a child, like okay, it's not that important to her or not because she doesn't have a child. Everyone needs the salary, so I don't get it. So Vanderpump remains Vanderpump, still horrible people
So
on there.
from the chatter, this is what happens when you listen to chatter. You don't watch a show. So all I'm hearing from the chatter is that Lala and Sheena are jealous about Ariana's basically good fortune from the Scandival situation, and that it's not a good look for them.
That's about right. I mean, there are two camps. Some people think like they're saying like Lala is speaking the truth that Ariana should film like this is their show and it needs to be real. But I don't know how much real it can get, considering that they filmed 3 months after they found out that you don't want to talk to your boyfriend of 10 years who cheated on you with a close friend. That is real. And then for her to say that she's not filming, as soon as they found out and they picked cameras up, this girl filmed with him. She spoke to him. She did what needed to be done. If you want to be friends with him, that's fine. But when Randall cheated on her, she told them, anyone who's friends with him, I don't want to talk to you. I can't be friends with them. So why are the rules changing? It's the part that I don't understand. Go ahead, be friends with him, but don't expect Ariana to be in the same headspace as you. And it's just ridiculous. And there was some one of those Hulu things, like how they did the hustler and the wife or whatever, and they had one thing about the a scandal or whatever, and Lala said something about she didn't get as much rallying around with Randall because she doesn't have the helpless look, something about that line. So I agree that I think there is some jealousy that they were both going through a breakup, but nobody rallied around Lala the same way they rallied around Ariana.
Is
But
it
I
the
think
rallying or the opportunities? This is the part that I'm
both,
trying to get clarity on.
both. The rallying, they consider the opportunities the rallying. That she's getting these opportunities because they're trying to support her, but they're not getting it. But I think that's also a lie. All they talked about also was also the Scandival thing. They did like a Uber Eats commercial, which they otherwise would not have gotten. It was her, Lala, and Sheena. Lala did the whole send it to Daryl and profited off of that. They bought a house. They did all the things. So I don't know. I think the jealousy also, again, is just the opportunities. Like, why is her being cheated on, giving her all these opportunities when my man lied to me, did horrible things to people, and that didn't happen to me. But Lala, you had a different story, but we're going through revisionist history, and she's saying she didn't know he was married and all of the fact that she's mad at Ariana. You were watching Vanderpump when she said you can't talk about my man, don't talk about my man on camera. So why are the rules changing? I don't It's not a good look. And she does that bullying thing where she gets that black scent and then starts yelling and talking over people. So it's just it's not cute. It's not cute. But they should just put this show to rest and let's all, be happy, I
And
think.
then what? They all move over to the valley?
No, I don't. Everyone keeps saying that. I don't think they should move over. They should just keep it as is, and they should all go find other jobs, I guess. But speaking of Vanderpump, I was gonna say, did you check it out? But you know, Vanderpump has a show on Hulu, Vanderpump Villa.
Yes, you've told me about it and I refuse to watch.
Okay, well, I mean, it was It's basically Vanderpump Rules at its inception, except they're in a chateau. They have the same horrible people, the same toxic people, and they actually had like a reunion hosted by Karamo. And now I'd like to throw Karamo into the batch of people who I think would be a good successor to Andy at reunions.
That would be awesome. Andy needs a successor.
He
Let's talk
does.
about Andy and the
Okay.
controversy. I mean, the thing is, I think Andy sucks for many reasons. I doubt he sucks for
Really?
the reasons named in that lawsuit.
I don't know. And this lawsuit was because of Brandy, right?
It, kind of, but it's also part of like the reality reckoning. It's all swirled into Bethany and her efforts. It's all swirled in together.
Well, I'm still stuck on you saying Andy sucks. I get it. Like people think he sucks, but I also don't think his job is so easy that I'm like, what is it? Like no one is 100% at their job.
Yeah, yeah. I mean Andy this is why I say Andy sometimes sucks. Sometimes Andy's not on the side of people who I'm on the side of. I think that's what it boils down to. Or particularly for me, where I was like, Andy, you really suck, was the below deck reunion where it was a long time ago. There was a season where the girls were just treated horribly by the guys. Andy
Yeah.
clearly had not watched the season. We came
Yeah.
to reunion. He barely knew what was going on, didn't hold them accountable. I've been holding a grudge for the many years since. And I think it happens a lot. I think Andy hosts reunions for shows that he doesn't watch. Drives me crazy.
I think that's fair. I think you should not host a reunion for a show that you do not watch. But that's why I think that they need to start diversifying. Like he can't host all the shows. Like give him the housewives, but also start grooming now sounds like a terrible word, but start grooming a host now, but it has to be someone that the women respect because part of what it is like Andy can say whatever and they'll just laugh because they want to keep their jobs. So it has to be someone that they respect and they can also hold them accountable. But Karama was holding these people accountable at the reunion, but also they are DEF listers, so they're not like people with any kind of celebrity. So maybe he can, but if he can do that to the women, I think that that would be a good thing. And I think for shows like maybe Potomac or Atlanta, when we talk about racially sensitive topics, like even like with the colorism in Potomac, he will be able to have that conversation too.
I mean, look, succession planning is important. Look at Nancy
Yeah.
Pelosi. She said, I'm out. I'm here, but I'm out. Here, Hakeem Jeffries, you're up next. Andy needs to be like that.
Yes, he does.
We'll be right back. And we're back.
Another disclaimer, we need to tell you guys that a lot of you, I think this was the show that we got the most of, the Ultimatum South Africa. Um, we will be covering this separately. I have
Yeah.
watched it. Aid hasn't watched it yet. So once we catch up, once the reunion happens, we'll probably just cover the reunion and just talk about the highlights on there because my goodness, that was a trip and a half.
The other thing that you will may be hearing from us about later is Bridgerton. Because
Yes.
I have now watched season 3 twice of what we've been given. And I've been reading way too much discourse online.
All right. So we got a few people asking about the Never Ever Mets, which is a show I'm sure like a lot of people like. Own doesn't get a lot of viewership. Some, you know, it's a newer channel, and some of the shows, are not some of the shows. A lot of the shows they are black shows, but we've talked about this before. I don't know black shows, white shows, or whatever. I don't know why black shows should just be for black people, and I think all eyes should be for everyone. So everyone should be able to watch everything. So I'm gonna talk about some own shows because I think they just need more eyes. We Never Ever Met is a new show. They're just in their first season, and it's about people who have been dating online long distance but have never met. Now, I don't know how true that is because there's a couple there that's been dating online for 12 years but have never met. At first hearing, do you believe that, Aid?
In this day and age, yeah. The thing is,
Ah!
I'm like, okay, maybe that couple may not be because they're whatever, but there, I'm sure there's a couple out there 12 years never ever met, and they call each other dating.
All right, well, there's another couple. They've been online dating for 3 years. They've never met, but they're both in LA. So that was a head scratcher for me. But basically, they bring them all to the house. They get them to meet each other for the first time. None of them were surprised for me enough for me. So that's why I kind of just questioned it. And then they get to be together. They get to have activities. They have a host, Rhonda Jones, who used to be on Empire. I don't think there should be an expert on there, but there's not like a permanent expert on there, and it's basically just watching all the couples meet. On the first episode, guys, someone got handsy on someone and had to be sent home. I could not believe what I was watching. Um, and when I say put hands, like shoved her
Oh,
aggressively, yes, and it was just not a good condition. I couldn't believe what I was watching. The internet is telling me that they might be back together because she was defending him, but I don't know if it's true. I'm just not going to look at that. But yeah, that was the first episode. So then we had another couple. She was just so volatile, talking about she's from New York. And he was telling her a gripe that he had, and she basically was just like, "You're a bitch." I thought she was kidding, and she wasn't kidding. And she was like, "You guys just said it. You're a bitch." But anyways, but it's interesting when it doesn't work out and people decide, "Oh, this is not gonna happen." They go home, and the ones that are left, there's just all this drama and all these things because some people in between the years they haven't met. One proposed to another, one had a baby on the other, so it's a lot of things that they're you know working on. So I don't know. It's on there. If this sounds interesting to you, as always, own shows you can now watch on Max, so you can watch it ads free on there. Love and Marriage Huntsville is still going strong. I don't know what's happening, Abe, because Carlos King is inserting himself in the show. Carlos
like
King is
he's
making
filming.
himself yes, like he FaceTime Melody and he's on screen on there. He had his live podcast show when he came to Alabama and he filmed the entire thing. But the salacious thing is like a cast member who was on there who left because she wasn't sharing her life. A producer stole her man and married him and is saying it with her chest and is saying that she didn't do anything wrong. In fact, she's saying she wasn't Destiny's friend and they weren't friends. And Destiny's like, no, I confided in you because, of course, you're producer. You have to tell them stuff about your life. So it almost like she was taking intel on her and used it to take her man. And now this producer is kind of like a friend of on the show. It's insanity, but I'm still watching. I'm entertained.
Can you give me an update on Melody and Martell? Do
Oh,
they
they're
interact?
divorced. Oh, it's
Well, of
terrible.
course. You've been divorced.
They are, yeah, they're not interacting. She changed her name. She's not a Holt anymore. In fact, the season started with him going to jail because he tried to revenge porn her. He tried to put out a video that they took when they were together. And Martell is like, well, if she does something, am I not supposed to retaliate? And I'm like, oh my God, this guy. He's the worst. Martell remains the worst.
It's
But
still, I
that's
mean,
the end of it.
that is, why is he still allowed to be on TV?
I don't know. Maybe the fight with him. But it's to the point where Melody's like, if we're doing something and you invite him, don't invite me. So now whenever there are things, they have to pick and choose who they're gonna invite.
I know
So
they've had some new people since I watched. Do they have enough story to keep this show going?
yes, because Destiny's back. We just got introduced to a new couple this season, and they've introduced another couple that were friends of Melody and Martell now. And now Stormy's yes, they have enough story. They do. And then oh my, and Kimmy just got through cancer. So I think even following that story of surviving breast cancer, there's a story there. because there was a whole thing about her husband still feeling entitled to sex, even though she was going through chemo.
Wait, you guys, I think we talked. I don't know if we did an episode about Love and Marriage Huntsville or we just talked about it. It could have been a phone conversation just happened between Tane and I. When I originally started watching the show, I think we said something to the effect of like, all these men suck, but oh gosh, I forgot his name. Kimmy's husband. Maurice is the
Maurice.
least sucky of them. And I think it was Tane who was like, oh, but he still sucks too. And I'm like, just confirming.
Yeah, yeah. So there's that. We're gonna go into territory that Aid has never. Well, no, you have. You used to watch Survivor.
Yes, I watched the first season of Survivor back in the year 2000 or whatever it was.
Okay. Someone asked about Survivor. Guys, my thoughts on Survivor right now. We are struggling. Survivor USA is struggling. This season, this new Survivor is what they're calling it. I don't know if you know, Aid, but it went from 39 days to 26 days because of the of COVID. And then they were filming back to back, and now we don't even have live reunions anymore. They tell you the winner right there. The losers have to face them in the eye and talk about and listen to the winners and how you don't even get to process how you lost. You're just there looking at them, and they have to ask them questions. You have to process it and you have to answer. And I'm not a fan of that. I understood during the COVID season, but now that COVID is over, I don't understand why that's still the case. And then they've introduced so many twists and idols and shot in the darks and all that stuff. Like, I don't know what it is. But this season, especially, is struggling because they've leaned heavily into casting eccentric people. That's the best thing I can say. And it's like, are we here to play the game or not? We had a cast member this season, Banu, and this man kept saying, I came here to touch a 10,000 hearts and get the fuck out of here. You need to come here and win a game and be cutthroat and have strategy. At some point, he was on his knees begging them, please help me. I'm not here to watch all of that. Like, maybe I'm in the minority, but I don't like it. I don't want it. And it's just affecting the way I watch, the game. I want to see strategy. And someone mentioned that we're in an era where we don't have villains anymore because I think everyone is now so conscious about their post reality life and they want the endorsements and stuff. So everything we're getting is a lot sanitized, I think, but I don't know. So I'll just say that this season is not the greatest. I'm still in it. I think the second half picked up, but when you watch Survivor Australia, it's very hard to think really good thoughts about Survivor USA because Survivor Australia is amazingness. Like, it doesn't even matter what season you're starting with. Like, that is strategy. You don't know who's going home every week. You're just on the edge of your seat, and there's no group think and all that stuff. It's just amazing. So, those are my thoughts on that.
You do like those Australian shows, man.
I sure do. MAFS Australia, guys. Always a trip. Their weak link is actually Love Island Australia, but that's besides the point. In the same family, the challenge, my great love, Challenge 39 was a bust, but the Challenge All Stars is going on right now, and Challenge All Stars is fantastic. It goes back to the basics. We got Cara Maria back after 5 years. For those of you who watched, there's a whole thing between Cara and Cam because Cam felt like her friend betrayed her and didn't do it. CT said it best. If your friend asks you to put your game on the line, they're not your friend. It's a game. I don't understand people who come on competition shows and then they get all pissed and all that. That's not to say, Aid, if we go on a show together and you betray me, I'll be mad at you, but give me a heads up.
If we
That's
got
all
on a
I
show
ask.
together and you betrayed me, it would be exactly like how it was on the Traders, where you'd be like, "But it was just a game," and I'd be like, "But we were friends." I'm the Bravo people and you're the gamer people.
You know what? This is a good segue for the show The Goat. The Goat is on Freevee, which doesn't matter. Don't look up for it. It's on Amazon Prime. We have someone from the challenge who is carrying the show on her back, and someone from the Survivor who is also co-carrying the show on there, Wendell and Davon. She's going in there like, you know what? This is a game. I'm not being nice because that has hurt me in the past in the challenge. I'm just going to strategize. I'm just going to do this. And then we have Reza on there. And it's funny how MJ was one of the ones, the traders, and she's gaming, and Reza is so hurt that he lost in a challenge that they had. I mean, he claims his editing and is a whole different thing. But Alyssa Edwards, who is from Drag Race, goes up to Davon to her face and is like, "You're just gaming, gaming, gaming. How about you be a human being and you connect with us and all that?" And I get it, but that connection is what usually makes people lose. But that's why Davon is now at the point where she's like, I'm not doing a show where they have mixed people. I need people who know that this is a game and we're all on the same page because this is ridiculous. Like, they're mad at her for playing a game. I don't understand it. It's literally called the GOAT. So that being said, Davon, who might be new to you guys, does have she's originally from Big Brother. um, she's a black woman, and every show she's been on, she has faced some kind of microaggression. It's just unfortunate that that's been her reality show journey, but this was the same case in the Goats. Like, when Alyssa Edwards goes to talk to her, he doesn't even let her talk and talks to her condescendingly. Is she playing so hard? Yes, absolutely she is. But there's never a situation where you shouldn't talk to someone with respect. And that was very painful to see. And when Reza went on the Jeff Lewis show, Reza said something about the gutter or the ghetto or something about her gameplay. But basically, again, you could hear the microaggressions in the words that were chosen. And then some people refused to do press with her, so she refused to do press at all for the show. So again, off screen hijinks and all that stuff. But it's just not a good situation. But the show itself is funny. It doesn't take itself seriously. I do recommend it. And it had a mishmash of people because Tasha is on there from The Bachelor. Grocery Joe from The Bachelor is also on there. Jill Zarin is on there.
Did
So
you
there's
man Grocery Joe?
yes, that's his nickname.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the goat sounds pretty good. And does it have a trader like feel to it?
Yes,
Okay, I might check that out.
yes, it does. Yes, after Kristen is on there from Vanderpump. So yeah, it's a mishmash of people. Lauren from Love Is Blind is on there. So, check it out, guys. You might enjoy it. But going back to All Stars, Kara's back, Cam is back. I'm glad that they're not doing that whole vacation alliance thing where, oh, we're friends, we're taking you to the end. Everyone is going with their own agenda. I think Leroy is a disappointment as a comeback. I don't know what he's doing on there. He always needs Cam to save him. As a sidebar, I introduced my husband to the challenge. I mean, it's inevitable. And it was so funny seeing how much he hated Leroy because Leroy is so beloved in the in the challenge universe. But the way he didn't like him it opened my eyes to see him in a different way, and I kind of understood where he was coming from. And Leroy has never won, by the way. So it's very interesting to see this so-called comeback from him. But I'm enjoying all of that, and it's a good All Stars that was also on ice for like a year and a half. The Goat also filmed a year ago in some, and is just now coming out. Also,
Speaking of your husband, what TV does he get to watch in your house?
we have many TVs. He watches his sci-fi stuff and all the other stuff that he likes. He's currently on the Blue Bloods binge, which is a very
Wow.
long binge, but he gets to watch a lot of TV.
I'm sure that people wanted to know, so I had to ask.
Yes, he watches. We don't have the same taste in shows, but I either force him to watch some reality shows or by osmosis he observes them because it's on there. Like, I got him into Ultimatum. So he didn't watch it with me because I started that on vacation, but he saw the drama in Ultimatum South Africa, and then he starts asking me questions. So he's in the know. He's in the know. I have upped his reality game knowledge
Of
willingly
course.
or unwillingly. He knows things he doesn't want to know about.
Of course. And he has upped your something knowledge?
No, because I don't want to watch any of the things. Like, he watched Shogun, which is the show everyone keeps telling me to watch. but I just can't bring myself to watch it. Shogun? Shogun? I'm calling it
Oh yeah.
Shogun, but it could be Shogun. I don't know.
Um, someone who we have in common knows someone who directed an episode of that show.
Look at me now trying to figure out who. But
Don't worry
okay,
about that part. But
okay.
Shogun also came highly recommended. There's just I'm just terrible. There's so much good TV that people are like you should watch that, and then I'm like, oh, Dateline.
Oh God, how are we gonna break you out of this Dateline? It's not a rut, but it's just, can we open your circle to watch more stuff?
Something. I will say, like, there's only so many Dateline episodes on Peacock, and when I run out of them, then I might have to find something else to watch. But because you mentioned it, talking of breaking out of a rut, I did watch that Freaknik documentary on Hulu. It was so good. Like, I think I knew Freaknik, Atlanta Party, something. But like that documentary, I really, really enjoyed. I actually did a little bit more research after I watched it to even understand more about Freaknik. It was so good. Anyway, and then I tried to start the Black Twitter one. It's a little slow start, but I plan to go back to it.
Okay, I've been meaning to watch the Freak documentary, but I just haven't got to it yet. Speaking of, Love is Blind Sweden. Somebody asked us about it. I talked a little bit about it on one of our MAFS episodes. It was good. I actually enjoyed it. I chose to watch it with the captions on. It is a masterclass on how to continue a relationship even when you're not feeling the person in the beginning, and just write it out and see what happens. I was surprised at the people who said yes at the end, and I was surprised at some of the drama. There was a guy, outside baby happened during filming, and by the reunion, the bride was pregnant with yet another baby. So that was surprising.
Oh,
The reunion, the reunion was great because everything was touched on. Nothing was left in the gaps. Like, they talked about every single thing and brought everyone to point. So, yeah, I enjoyed it and I recommend it. I don't know. I think I still rank Brazil ahead of it, but the Swedish one was pretty cool. They're very honest too, without being hurtful, but they're very honest. Okay, speaking of maps, let's come. Oh, God. Speaking of Love is Blind, let us switch out stateside. Hey, do you want to share with the people what is going on with Clay?
so Clay was was pictured. I believe he posted the picture. It's also this is what happens when you get your news from Twitter. Twitter is a place where people comment on what's happening, but they don't tell you what's happening. So you have to like extrapolate it. It's so difficult. So Clay, I believe, posted a picture of him with this girl. I think she's like, I don't want to. She engages in sex work of some kind. I
She
don't know
has
the.
an she has an OnlyFans.
Okay, so she's an OnlyFans girl. She must be a pretty famous OnlyFans girl, and with a quickness, Clay's mother put out a statement. And, for you guys, I have to go read this statement. Because people were like, Clay, how could you date this person? Which I was like, we don't know anything about her. So I don't know why we would judge. But yeah, his mom put out a statement, and I'm going to read it for you guys. I should have had this ready. Word for word, people. Happy New Day. First, my number one rule for folks following me on social media: don't send me any inappropriate videos. I'm not going to call you out. However, you know who you are. Second, I didn't know who CP was until everybody started sending me her YouTube information. Vomit emoji. It's very interesting that some men will lose everything thinking that the apple is good, but it's a forbidden choice. In parentheses, do better. The deceiver uses old tricks to attack and destroy. Clayton Alexander, you know Jesus will allow things to occur. He's still trying to get your attention. Please surrender to him. In closing, I pray that everyone reading this gives the same attention to other things that matter, like helping support your local food banks and volunteer in your local communities. Tap link in my bio. I pray that everyone has a wonderful day on purpose. Signed, Straight Shooter.
You know, Clay's mom has always been a real one. since the beginning, and nothing's ever changed. And I appreciate her honesty because usually, if you're people like Martel's mom, who no matter what Martel does, she's like, "You did the right thing. You did what you're supposed to do." But wrong is wrong and right is right. So good for her for calling out her son.
Oh,
The thing is, my friend sent it to me, and I didn't think they were dating. I just thought it was like a clout kind of deal, like just to have tongues wagging. Because for those who don't know, okay, her name is Selena Powell, and I take back the OnlyFans. I'm not sure, so I don't want to say it factually, but she is known for having some kind of controversy against like mostly like black celebrities. Like she's the one who I don't know if you remember when Offset was accused of fathering a baby with Cardi B. She was the one who said that, oh, like, I am pregnant for your baby. She's also targeted like Snoop Dogg or whatever. And she just does all this controversial things saying that Trey Songz kidnapped her. So,
but she might
she.
have.
True that. But yeah, just things like that. So there's always like some kind of controversy that's usually just surrounding her. So, as a mom, I understand why his mom might be concerned, but for some reason, I don't think it's a real relationship,
Just a
to be
little, let's
honest.
have some fun and take a picture and post because I'll get some attention and you'll get some attention.
Yes, that's what I think it is. But again, I don't have any proof. I don't know these people. But it's just like, even if that's the case, why? It just goes to show that Clay was not a serious person from day one.
Oh, but his mother is a serious person. I think the part that really gets me is I'm assuming people sent her videos of Selena's activities. And
Yeah.
she was like, I don't want to see this. Thank you. Um, Clay responded, by the way, to that beautiful gem of a message with, "Heard you, mom. My apologies." Selena, she says, "Hey guys, I just wanted to say to all the people who don't like me, breathe in and breathe out because there's nothing more you guys can do." And then posted a video of herself rapping along to Hit 'em Up, including some pointed lyrics saying, "Fuck you and your motherfucking mama."
Oh,
So
controversy, So,
oh my God. I love Clay's mom so much. I mean, that was just a beautifully written statement. There was so much
yeah,
shade to so many different people, including the people reading, being like, if you are going to take your time to read what nonsense I have to say, I'm going to tell you to go volunteer at a food bank, you idiots.
yep. Very respectful. Very, very respectful.
We'll be right back. And we're back.
We're rounding up the show. Someone asked for something about the Golden Bachelor. Did you watch that? I can't remember.
It's so funny. My friend who does not watch, well, claims to not watch reality TV, she is like very, very into the Golden Bachelor. Couldn't believe that they broke up after 3 months after getting married. And then I read an article about the new Golden Bachelor who was a little offended that the new Golden Bachelor is like 62 and that the guy was like 70 and she just felt like 62 is um not even social security eligible or something. So
Wait, wait, wait,
why
wait. Do you mean Golden Bachelorette?
yeah, the Golden Bachelorette.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, "This is a new one." Okay, okay,
And
okay.
did not feel why is the woman the first Golden Bachelorette so much younger than the first Golden Bachelor? That was a problem for the
I
writer.
don't. Yeah, I don't know if it necessarily was about the age. It was just more about she had more of a story.
I think it's about the
So
era of life. I think the golden part is not necessarily a number. It's like you already had kids. You've probably already been married before. You're in a different era of life than the OG Bachelor. That's why it's called the Golden Bachelor or the Golden Bachelorette.
I think what I mean is she happens to be 62, but they chose her because she was on The Bachelor and everybody loved her, but she had to leave early to take care of
Why
her
did
daughter.
okay, her daughter was ill or having surgery?
Yes, her daughter had postpartum depression. She just had a baby, and her daughter called and was like, "I need you," blah blah, and she left. So I don't listen. I have an issue with like a lot of like pop culture commentary or writers lately because it seems like they're not writing organically anymore. They're writing to poke problems where there really aren't any per se, just because there's an article I saw something about Bridgerton and not representing the class, the lower class, and I'm like, that's not what Bridgerton is about. I didn't even read the books, and I know that. So what, like, so what I mean is like, yes, she's younger, but they everyone knows that they pick people based on what was their story and the previous one, who was most beloved, who ranked high when they do this focus groups and whatever. And it happened to be Joanne, and she just happens to be 62. So I don't know. That's just why I think that was the case. And then I always say his name wrong, Jerry or Jeff. I can't remember the bachelor's name.
Jerry?
So, anyways, Jerry just happened to be the best of the bunch and happened to be 72 or however old he was. So I don't think it was that big of a deal. But in terms of them breaking up, well, yeah, they were going to break up. They didn't have any chemistry. He didn't really like her. He liked Faith, the other woman. And then we woke up the next day and he broke up with her. And I'm like, what? And the running joke is that he found out that Teresa had a lot of money and was still working, and he's like, "Oh, that's my golden egg right there." And then stories came out about him afterwards and how he was not so nice to whoever he dated. But on the show, he's like, "I haven't dated since my wife died." But
That's so
it
funny.
just goes to show that doesn't matter what age, the Bachelor still has the Bachelor is gonna bachelor is what we're gonna say. But I don't know. I don't even know if I'm gonna watch The Bachelorette, The Golden
Really?
Bachelorette,
As long as I don't believe you.
because
I don't know.
I stopped actually watching the Bachelor franchise one after Charities. I didn't watch Greg's season and all that, and then there's no Bachelor in Paradise. I don't even have any incentive. I really just watch so I know the people when they come on Bachelor in Paradise, and for some reason I don't think there's one this summer, which I'm kind of sad about. But yeah, there's none. All right, I think we got through most of the shows. A really quick run through for Big Brother Canada. If anyone watched, that was insane. What happened? He shouldn't have picked Bailey. Should have picked Lexus, and he cost himself the game, and he only has himself to deal with. Drag Race. All Stars just started. Looks like a fun cast. I like the first episode, and it looks like it'll be great. Some really two shows that I don't think people are watching. Grand Cayman Island on Hulu with Salida Eubanks and Army Hammer's ex-wife. Have you heard about that?
I have no. Oh, I saw an ad for it because it was a
Okay.
reality show about people who live in the Grand Cayman. It didn't
Yes.
look that good.
It's not that good, honestly. If it was a celebrity, it would be D list. I think Salida Eubanks is the biggest name on there, and she's actually from the Cayman Islands. But the only note I want to say is like Elizabeth Hammer, which she's still using the same name. If you're a producer on a show and you still come out as a villain, it just means that you truly are a villain, and there's just no way to edit it out that you're a villain. So I don't know if she's gonna come back for the show. But on the flip side of that, a show that I'm really, really enjoying that's on Peacock is called Love Undercover. They have four soccer players, like actual big time soccer players. Well, I guess if you don't watch, you might not know them, but from Europe and Mexico, and they have girls coming in. They don't tell them who they are. They have all these made up jobs and they're trying to find true love and they're going through the whole process. If they evict themselves, then the guys have to come into the confessional, tell them what they truly do. And they're all there fighting for each other's love or whatever. I am enjoying that. So recommend
I love the
if that is something
concept
you're
that
into.
like you could be a multi. I mean, I guess it's the same as here. If you sent some football players over to England, they wouldn't know who they are. Um,
Yeah.
and I mean, you have to be. They might not be able to name one. So that's I like the concept of that. I've seen the commercials and stuff because I'm on Peacock all the time. I like the concept.
Yeah. But it's funny because the one from Mexico, Marco, he went on a date and they were walking down the sidewalk. I think it was a setup by the producers. And you could just hear, and some people were just like, Marco, Marco. They're like, pass the ball. And she's like, how did they know your name? And then he starts faking, like, English is my second language. He's speaking Spanish. He's like, no, I think they're confusing me with somebody else. I'm just telling them that it's not me. She was like, but they knew your name though. It's just so funny. But it's very producer heavy. You can tell where the producer's hands lay because at some point there's just a heavy thing of the ladies asking, "Do you play soccer? What's your favorite team? What's your whatever?" So, yeah. So that's a show that I enjoy. So I think somebody asked for couples therapy. New season is not out, but it's a great show. It's one of the better reality shows that's actually reality. I don't think it's scripted in any shape or form. And Una, the therapist, is like the bestest, fantastic therapist that's there. Top Chef, spoke a bit briefly. I'm enjoying the season, so much so that I booked a trip to Milwaukee, had a great time, visited the restaurant that the first challenge was filmed in, got to meet the chef. When he found out we're there, we got a tour, and it was great. The food was great, also. But the season itself, this is Kristen's first time hosting because Padma has left now, and I wasn't sure how I was gonna go, because I'm just used to having Padma as the host. But Kristen is a former winner and she's great at it. And if you want to know who I'm rooting for, I am rooting for Michelle, who I think is from Houston, but I'm not quite sure. And I'm rooting for Dan and the other Danny Garcia. Um,
So, talking of Top Chef, it's so funny
mhm,
because last week I've been meaning to go to Evelyn from Houston season of Top Chef's restaurant. I knew it was close,
mhm.
but I followed them on Instagram. Finally, the power was out. I was looking for food and they were doing like a lunchtime thing. So I'm like, let me just swing by. And there was Evelyn right there. And I had to be cool and just get my empanada and shut up.
Oh, wow.
But I
Why?
was like, I saw Evelyn. It was really exciting. And then I didn't really say anything besides thank you when she gave me my empanada.
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait. Hold up. Why?
I don't know. I don't know why. I just said thank you and took my empanada and fangirled inside.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool though. That's pretty cool. I think the new season of MAFS Australia, I don't know if it hit Lifetime or if it's just available now, but we got a few messages about that. But I recommend it. I mean, I watched it when it was live. It's so long, Aid. It went from like January to like, is it April or May? I think someone said there's a lot of episodes, and that's because, guys, it airs every day from Sunday to Wednesday. So it's four episodes a week is how long it is. And every week they have the commitment ceremony, the dinner party, and all that. So I think this latest season is one of the tamer ones. We didn't have any cheating until afterwards. So, that's a step up from the usual because there's usually cheating within the episodes. All right, Aid, I think we got a good handle on most of it. I'm pretty sure there's more, but, we got a good handle of most of the shows.
I'm like, how could there be more? I feel like we just covered 50 shows. There's only so many hours in the day.
Oh, there's more. If I start with Chow House, that's a whole different one. That's on Food Network. It's a show where they all go to Italy and then they got to do things with Chef Guarnacelli and then another Italian chef. And then whoever wins gets a year's mentorship and they get to do stuff. It's just pretty cool to me. But that's another show. I don't know anybody else that watches it, but there's more. There's always more.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed. This is the first time that we've done something like this. So hopefully you like it. And if you like it, tell us and we might do it again.
Yeah.
Give us a few months though for like there to be more TV to watch. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at AltarCallMAFS. That's AltarCallMAFS. We love hearing from you guys. Tell us what you're watching or watch some of the stuff we recommended and tell us what you think.
Yeah. Because a lot of you did watch Summer House Martha's Vineyard because of our review, and yay you! Don't forget to subscribe. We're available anywhere you listen to your podcast. Please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And next week, don't forget, we will be covering the rest of the episodes and the reunion for Summer's House, Martha's Vineyard. Until then, goodbye.
Bye.